Hi everybody, this is Eugene O'Loughlin lecturing computing at the National College of Ireland, and welcome to my series of short how-to videos. In this video we're going to learn how to calculate the percentage of a number using Excel 2013. Now if you're like me, I get confused when I'm trying to determine the percentage of a number. In this video we're going to use a formula to help us calculate the percentage of a number, some easy ones and some more complicated ones. Now let's first of all take a look at the easy ones. Over here in column A I've got a series of numbers and percentages that I would like to be able to calculate. So the first one here in cell A2 is I'd like to know what is 10% of 100. Now I don't need a formula to figure that one out. 10% of 100 is going to be 10. We also need to figure out what is 60% of 200. Again, that's straightforward. You could do it in your head. 200 is twice 100, so therefore twice 60 is going to be 120. So 60% of 200 is 120. But what about more awkward numbers like 15.7% of 1,234 or 82.1% of 1,555,555? Those ones of course are a lot more difficult to do in your head. So what I'd like to show you here is the formula that works for me and makes it a little bit easier for me to remember how to calculate percentages in Excel. So what I've done first of all is in columns B, C and D I have the variables Y, Z and X. Now X is going to be my results, so in the formula I'd like to know what X is, and it's equal to the value that is in Y. Now that's my number, which in my first example over here in cell A2 is going to have a value of 100. I'm going to multiply that by Z, which is the percent that I want to find out, so again in cell A2 that's going to have a value of 10, and then divide it by 100. So let's go ahead and put these values for the percentage questions that I'm asking in columns B, C and D. So the first number that I want to get is 100, and the percentage I want to calculate for this is 10. So I want to know what is 10% of 100. So in cell D2 over here, let's use the formula and see what we come up with. Remember, our expected answer is 10 here because this is an easy one to do in your head. So in cell D2 type in the equal sign. Now you'll notice in the formula that when I multiply Y by Z I have that surrounded by brackets to determine precedence. So I'm going to put the brackets in the formula. So equals opening bracket, the value in Y, so I'm going to use cell referencing here and click on cell B2, multiplied by the value in Z, so that's cell reference to cell C2, closing bracket, and then divide by 100. And so if you read the formula carefully here and look at the formula that I've typed into cell D2 in Excel, you can see that this will give us a value of X. Let's press return, and we get a value of 10 as we expect. Now, once again, I often get confused. Should I divide? Should I multiply? Should 100 be above the line? Should 100 be below the line? It's always a little bit awkward. So it's a good idea to do something like this if you're in doubt, to use easy numbers like this to make sure your formula works. I'm just going to double check that again with my next one. So that's what is 60% of 200. So I'm going to put 200 in the Y, and I'm going to put 60 into the percent. And again, I'm just going to double click in here to type in equals. Follow my formula rules, opening bracket, the value for Y, which is 200 in this case, multiplied by the value for Z, which is the percent, that's 60 in this case, closing bracket, divided by, once again, 100. That's always going to be constant for 100, and press enter, and I get the expected value of 120. So now I know my formula is working. Now I know I've got the precedence, I've got the brackets, and I've got the division and multiplication in the right place for these simple calculations. Now let's go ahead and do them for the more complicated calculations down here, which would not be that easy to do in our head. So first of all, let me put in the numbers. 13876. Just deliberately awkward numbers here to make it one a little bit more difficult to do this in your head. 15.7% is the first percentage I want to calculate, 45.5 and 82.1. So now I've got my values ready just like in the previous formula, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. So this time in cell D5 I'm going to type in equals, opening bracket, my value Y, which is the number I want to get the percentage of, so that's going to be cell B5 in this case, multiply that by the percent that I'm looking for, so that's the value in C5, 15.7 in this case, closing bracket, and divide it by, once again, 100. And press enter, and I get a value of 193.74. You'll agree that that's a little bit more difficult to do in your head, but we know, because we have used the formula here and checked it in the rows above, that this is in fact is the correct answer. In my formula over on the right hand side, I can see x is equal to y times z divided by 100, and in my formula in cell D5 I can see I have exactly the same input in here. Let's go down then and do the next one. What is 45.5% of 13,876? So that's going to be equal to, opening bracket, I'm just doing exactly the same again, my value y, which is my number, 13,876, multiplied by my value z, which is 45.5, closing bracket, divided by 100. And this formula here will tell me, the result will be, what is 45.5% of 13,876. In your head you'll know that 45.5 is almost a half, so you would be expecting an answer there round about 6,000 and something, and when I press enter we get a value of 6,313.58. If we're doing a series of these, we can use Excel's autofill tool by grabbing the bottom right hand fill tool here in the corner of cell D6, and I can just drag that down and it will give me the calculation for what is 82.1% of 1,555,555, and you can see the answer there is 1,277,110.66. So this simple formula works very, very well for me. It helps me to understand how percentage works in this case, and if I ever want to determine the percentage of any number, this formula will give it to me using a spreadsheet like this. So that's how you calculate the percentage of a number in Excel 2013. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for your attention.